Aloha, my name is Bobby Pahia and I'm the manager of Hoʻaloha Farms. Today we have a 61-acre farm here. What I do is I partner with other farmers. We try and implement the old ahupua'a system. You know, I carry the lease, my partner farmers come in, they grow their crop, and all we do is trade. I trade for their services or their products. I'm primarily a Kalo farmer. I grow over here on this land about 8 different Hawaiian varieties.
My name is Neil. My family owns whole farms. We farm on about 180 acres. At Eva, we're doing 17 acres of organic, and we just started that this year.
My name is Jenny Rizzotti, and I am the owner of Chubby Chicken's Hatchery. I'm located here in Molowa'a on Kauai, and we raise different breeds of laying hens. And then I actually bring people to the farm and I educate them and I teach them how to raise chickens. We also raise miniature dairy goats, Berkshire pigs, ducks and turkeys, and a cow named Boo. And he's just kind of like the mascot, I guess. He was supposed to be a meat cow, but it's not happening anymore.
My name is Christian Zuckerman. I am the farm manager here at Kahumana Organic Farms. Kahumana is a part of a large nonprofit that has many social programs that we work with the community. We have a transitional housing for homeless families, a learning center for people with developmental disabilities, commercial kitchen, retreat center, cafe, a lot of different things going on here at Kahumana. I am personally interested more in the farm, you know, that's what I'm about. We grow a lot of different vegetables here.
My name's Kyle Studer. I'm the owner of Paʻauilo Forest Farm. We grow about 12 acres of different vegetables, mostly head cabbage, beets, carrots, bok choy, green onions, radishes, turnips, maybe another like half a dozen or so other things depending on the time of year.
The reason why I got into farming, especially Kalo, I'm strictly a Kalo farmer, that's what I do. The reason why I do it is because today in Hawaii, poi and taro has become a luxury item. So our native people cannot even afford to eat our native food. That's why I grow it.
So when I graduated from high school, I went to DeVry University in LA. I studied network communication management for 4 years. When I graduated from college, my sister gave me a call and she told me that she needed help. So I was kind of hesitant, but I eventually did move back, and definitely there's no turning back.
When I was young, I legally emancipated myself and went and lived in the mountains. I just kind of lived in a secluded area on the island, and I then learned how to hunt and grow food and just kind of live off the land and live sustainably. And I did that for about 2 years, and then I decided that I wanted to be a farmer.
I've always had this passion to farm at one point in my life. I never quite expected to be farming this early on. It's sort of where I graduated college, came back here, and the farm manager at the time was leaving, and they sort of asked me to step in for a couple months just to keep things going until they found a new manager. And here I am 4.5 years later, still going and loving what I do.
The way that I got into farming was my senior year of high school. I met some folks in my hometown that were organic farmers, and I just went and helped out with them, and we became friends, and I just realized how much I liked their lifestyle and what they did. And I didn't get into farming right out of high school. I went to college for fine arts, and ended up just like feeling really unsatisfied with it after a year, and felt like I was spending a ton of money, and so went back and got involved in farming again.
What I really wish I had from the beginning is I wish I had a mentor. That's what I wish I had. Because if I had somebody like me that was teaching me when I began, oh, big difference. Because you don't have to make all the mistakes I made. You're gonna get guidance to where you need to go get money, and how to position yourself, to line all your ducks up in a row so you qualify, to position yourself to get money. That's the part a lot of people don't know about how to go out there and go get the money, because you're gonna need money.
I wish I knew more about kind of the marketing and the finance level of it. Reaching out to people, selling your product, you know, getting people to come to your farm.
I guess something that I would have just liked to know more would just be like the technical background of what it takes to farming. You know, always knew it was a lot of work, but just having sort of that larger background of like, you know, the science behind farming.
I wish I had spent more time working for other commercial vegetable farmers, just to get a better sense of the ins and outs of the business and the area where we're at right now. This is the third lease that I took, so I set everything up as it should be. But initially, I think I did a lot of things that if I'd had more experience working for larger farms, I wouldn't have done. You know, I would have done things differently from the get-go and probably spent less money and had less struggles.
For me personally, there's a connection to the ʻāina. It keeps me grounded as a Kanaka. It always reminds me of who I am and where I come from.
I pretty much get to work with all types of things from, you know, from like fabrication, you know, I learned how to weld on YouTube. You know, I just ordered a plasma cutter the other day, and it's just trying to, you know, you can be creative. You can really be creative. You could figure out what is it that optimizes your operation and try to develop these machines or build the technologies or put together the software to make it work and make it more efficient.
It's a great lifestyle. It's very simple. It's very grounding. It's very, I mean, to me, I can express myself through my farm. It's so rewarding. I love knowing where my food comes from. I love knowing that I'm eating good food and that I'm also taking care of my community.
Definitely a good part of it is that I get to be physically active all the time. I really hate sitting at a desk in a chair, and I hated school as a kid. I'm my own boss and I get to do something that I love, and I get to eat better than most people, I'd say, because I have tons of fresh vegetables all the time. You know, like I said, I couldn't have it any other way, really.
You know, the hardest thing about the farming deal was finding land with a secure lease and finding water security. And I know that those are some major components with any farmer, and financing.
Actually, one thing that I would say that I think is part of the reason that you don't see so many people getting into farming here is the ability to get access to land. I have no equity in this land at all. The fence that I put up, the irrigation system that I have here, any structures that I build, I don't own any of that stuff. It all goes to the state when the lease terminates. In farming, it's one of the only businesses where your means of production is the place where you're at. And you have a restaurant, your means of production is your kitchen, your stoves, all those sorts of things. If you own all of that, if you lose your lease in the building you're in, you can pick it up and move to a new place and be back up in business in a couple months. If you farm a piece of land for 20 years and you lose your lease and you have to pick up and move to some other place, you're starting all over. You have tremendous amounts of expense and value that you're leaving when you leave that piece of land.
I would say one of the challenges is finding dedicated people that want to work in this industry.
Most of the folks that I have work for me are young people that are either transient or recent implants from the mainland. They usually don't have a lot of agricultural experience, and so it takes a certain amount of time for them to learn how to do things and to become efficient workers.
I don't know, there's a lot of challenges. It's really physical work.
Long hours, that's even, a normal 40-hour job. It's like you go to work and then when you're done with work at 4 or 5, you're done. With farming, you're never done. Even when it's raining on the weekends, if you have animals, they still need to be fed, they still need to get watered. If you have, plants, they need to be watered over the weekends. So it's a 24/7 kind of thing.
The way we market our kalo, I have 3 tiers of marketing. Our first tier is basically we supply all the restaurants that I work with. Okay, it's called the Hoʻaloha group, and then under that we have 5 different restaurants. So this is totally one farm to table kind of deal. Okay, our luau, we do approximately 525 people every night, and they're paying $100 a crack, and it's worth every dollar.
There's definitely huge opportunities because we import nearly 85% of our food from meat, poultry. Pretty much all our milk is imported. With that being said, there's demand for local product.
we ship taro that is grown in Central America to Hawaii. Now that's ironic because we should have taro, enough taro over here to feed our own people, but we don't.
Well, I would say that the opportunities in agriculture in Hawaii are enormous because there's so little food that's produced locally and there's a huge demand for it. And so there's really a lot of potential for there to be more farms and have more people get into agricultural businesses.
And the opportunities, the opportunities are endless. I think the best opportunity is this sort of the chance to really give back to the community in the sense that we're growing food it's not being shipped somewhere. It's actually going to feed people here in Hawaii, here on Oahu. And I think, for me personally, that is a great opportunity just to be able to give back.
GoFarm Hawaii program, I think that's a great program. Number one, because we don't have any other programs like that out there, okay? So, there we go. We finally have some kind of program that can at least teach people or expose people to the farming world.
Going to a program like GoFarm Hawaii is definitely important because farming is not just kind of fiddling around in the garden. That's part of it, but there's a huge business aspect behind it. You just have to be organized and you have to do your taxes at the end of the year, you have to do inventory, you have to make sure you're making money at the end of the month or at the end of the day. You have to figure out how to buy health insurance, you have to figure out how to navigate the structures of the government. So I think GoFarm Hawaii definitely will allow you to dabble in some of those business aspects and actually the implementation of all that.
I'm a graduate from the GoFarm Hawaii program. When I first heard of the course, I was actually really excited because there's a lot of questions that I need answers to. My favorite thing was the connections I made with the people, not just the farmers, but the students, my teacher. We had people fly in from all over the islands and do talks on soil and management and everything you could possibly think of. And to me, that gave me more confidence as a farmer. And not only that, I have other people to back me now from all these different farms and all these different students that I met, and I actually still stay in contact with a lot of the students. Even my teacher, he actually he's a great guy, and if I ever have questions, I give him a call and he'll answer. So it's just another sign of being like, you want to be a farmer? Well, you're not alone.
It's all about networking. These people are going to tie you with other people, those other people are going to tie you with other people. You're going to get within the circle of influence where you need to be. And that's how you're going to gain knowledge, land, all kinds of good stuff. So GoFarm, I'm so happy about that program.
I think, the benefits of GoFarm Hawaii are amazing. Just the fact that there's a program out there where you can get the background, like the science of farming, the classroom activities, but then they'll actually take you not only to go visit farms, you get hands-on experience, see how different farmers do it in different locations, parts of the island, and then they actually give you a plot of land where you get to experiment, where you're not having to take on those huge startup costs as a farmer, where land and water, that's all provided for you.
I think there's a lot of benefits to participating in GoFarm Hawaii. Even still for me, anytime that I have an opportunity to go to a class and learn something new and pick up more information, I want to do that. And you get a good sense of kind of the full spectrum of everything you need to know. It's not just how do you grow a head of cabbage, it's how do you market yourself, where do you get your packaging from, how do you make sure that you're not spending more money than you're making when you grow that head of cabbage, and all those sorts of things.
If you want to go into farming as a business, just be prepared to, that if you're committing to that, you got to be 150% committed. It's not, you can't, only put want to farm but only put half your heart into it. If you're going to go into farming, you got to be 150% in it, full head go,
I think if you're thinking about becoming a farmer, it's not just like you just hop into the industry and then voila, it's just great. It doesn't work like that. When we first started, we worked long hours, and you have to have a lot of support, and you also have to be you have to be really committed.
My advice for people wanting to get into agriculture would be first get a job in agriculture. That's the biggest piece of advice I think I have. If you're coming not from an agricultural background, for whatever reason you feel the itch to get into farming, I'd say go find a job at a farm that's is similar to what you think you want to do as you can find, and it'll give you a more realistic picture of how much work it is. Start only as large as you're confident with. Don't go overboard. If you have never farmed before, don't try to farm 20 acres.
If you start rubbing elbows with people that are of like doing, you're gonna get the inside scoops. In other words, you go get around farmers, go get around the farm bureaus. Kind of go over there, start poking, start asking questions, start just getting the feel of what's going on, because that's where you're gonna find the opportunity. That's where you're gonna run into people like me who can help you get an opportunity. Because if you're like, let's say you came to Maui and you knew nobody, okay? And you want to farm. Well, it's going to be very difficult because you don't know the people there, right? So you got to get in a circle where you can get to know people that are in the farming industry already.
So for those who want to be a farmer, please keep doing it, please, because when it comes down to it, we need more farmers right now, more than ever. I mean, you want to talk about our future and our keikis and our islands. That's what we need. We need more farmers. We need people that are into caring for our ʻāina, caring for our keiki, making sure that this land is going to be cared for. I mean, that's what the Hawaiians used to do back in the day. It was their love and their connection through the lands. It is not an easy path. It's not, but it is very rewarding. It is, and just keep that. Keep believing yourself. And like I said, people have your back. You have support, and just remember that and just keep going, because we need more people that want to farm this land.
We really don't know what lineage this particular Kalo is, but I'm sure it's hundreds and hundreds of years old. And how is that perpetuated? By doing what we just did to the oha and creating a seedling and planting it. This is where we got the word ohana from this Kalo, from Hoʻaloha. You have the makua, which is this, what I'm cleaning. And then you have the oha, the sons and daughters. I don't know how many years these plants represent, the lineage. I know it's hundreds and hundreds of years. That's just so cool. This taro's been around longer than all of us. So.